Hi there, my name is Greta Jenny. Yeah, we make videos that encourage believers and other people to grow in their walk with God. As a follower of Christ, we walk daily with Christ, saying yes to Jesus daily. So on this channel, we share videos and writings that encourage us to grow in our work with God. Usually, whenever I want to study my Bible, I pick a book and I study. But this year, I decided to start reading my Bible book by book. I went to the Old Testament to start reading from Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and seriously, it has been amazing. It has been beautiful to actually know how everything started. So I will be sharing today some things I've learned so far. I'm still in Old Testament. I'm in First Samuel now. So I'll be sharing some revelations and insight that I've gotten by the help of the Spirit. So the first on my list is God is always speaking. God is always speaking. We can see in Genesis that God spoke to Adam and Eve directly. God spoke to Abraham, said, leave the father's house. God spoke to Moses. He gave him instructions on how to go to Pharaoh. God is always speaking. In the Old Testament, the Spirit of God was upon the people, but now Christ lives in us. Just imagine, when the Spirit of God was upon them, they heard from God. Talk more of now that Spirit of God lives inside of us. God is always speaking to us. He is always talking to us. And it's so beautiful to know that the Spirit of God lives in us, always speaking to us. So I want you to know that God speaks. If you think, we have not heard God's voice, you should pray and be still. Discern God's voice. In my previous video, I talk about how we hear from God. God speaks to us in different ways, but pay attention. God is always speaking. The phrase the Lord spoke, the Lord said, appears many times in the Bible. That's to let us know that God is always speaking. But men sometimes refuse to pay attention to what He is saying. So if you think that God is not speaking to you, you might just have to pray that the Spirit of God should help you to hear His voice more clearly. The next point is God is always leading us. Abraham, God led Abraham. God told him to leave his father's house. God led Moses to the burning bush. God told him, He led him to lead the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. God is always leading us. We can see how God led Samuel to a curious moment between Samuel and Saul, King Saul. So God is always leading us. The Bible tells us that the Lord will lead us, He will guide our paths. God is always leading us, but we should pay attention. I just believe when it comes to relating with God, our discernment spirit needs to be heightened. God desires us to serve Him with all our heart and soul. When God brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, He did so many miracles, parted the Red Sea, provided manna. The only thing God required of them is serve me with all your heart and all your mind. That's what God wants from us. God desires us to serve Him, and the way we show our love to God is by serving Him and walking in His ways. The Bible tells us to walk in the way. God has a way He wants us to walk in. We can also see that in Deuteronomy 11 verse 13, Deuteronomy 13 verse 4. God has His ways. I think this is connected to the first point I made. God has His ways. Say, walk in thy ways. I think we should open that. So Deuteronomy 11:22 said, be careful to obey all these commands I'm giving you. Show love to the Lord your God by walking in His ways and holding tightly to Him. God has a way He wants us to walk. Walking in His ways is obedience. God is always with us. The Bible tells us, lo, I'm with you always. You can see that the Lord was with Abraham. The Lord was with Isaac, Jacob. Their testimonies was powerful. God was with the children of Israel even when they were in the wilderness. God is always with you. Sometimes you think you are alone. You feel lonely. Things are happening in your life, you're like, oh, God is not with you. It's a lie. That is the lie of the devil. God is always with you. Obedience is key when it comes to our relationship with God. Even when God gives us a promise, even when God gives us a promise or an assignment, we still have a part to play. God promises are sure, but it requires our faith, obedience, and action. Noah had to build the ark. Moses had to stretch his word. Abraham had to leave his father's house. So in dealing with God, it requires our obedience, our faith. So these are my few points. In my next video, I will also be sharing the lessons and the things that I've been learning. See you next time. Bye.